Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard, the best television show not on TV. Man, we only had 2 NFC East games this week. We got the Eagles and we got the Commanders, and that's about it. The Beard's Commanders took a L to those Minnesota Vikings, and Kirk Cousins came back with a little bit of chant of his own talking about you like that, and the Eagles handled business against the Texans in the second half. Now, the New York Giants did manage to take an L during the bye week. I will reiterate that fact if you missed the Giant overreaction on Monday. Impromptu Giant overreaction, I might add. Xavier McKinney ended up breaking his hand on an ATV in Cabo this past week. Seemed extremely frustrated today in the press conference when Jordan Renan would not give him no flack and repeatedly asked him, this was a sightseeing, you said? And he kept saying, yeah, and then he got extremely frustrated. Not a great acting job by your boy Xavier McKinney. Got to do a little bit better, man. I know a lot of y'all fans trying to get that man a pass. Very irresponsible if you ask me on that front. But without further ado, man, let me bring in the best co-host in the country, the strong side to Awthentik's left side, my brother, your brother from another, the brother who took an L this past week. My man, The Beard, what time is in the building? What's cracking, dog?
Nothing much, man. Just got back from a sightseeing tour,
Yeah, I'm sightseeing on ATV, so you pretty much not looking at the road. Pretty much.
Listen, I saw your comment to one of them because there were so many going on about how, you got to coach him through that. That's why teams pay their publicists so much money. You got to pull him aside and be like, look, bro, as soon as you get in that locker room, they're going to be coming for you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you bring this up. It's very adult-like of you because that's how an adult would handle that. But we got to understand we are dealing with a 23-year-old young man. So he's not, as accustomed to dealing with these things. But that's what media training is all about. And especially in a month of sports where media training has definitely been a thing, especially with the Kyrie Irving stuff and all that, you would think that they got someone in his ear to be able to step in there and make sure he's giving at least, a PC answer. Like, hey, Xavier, when you don't know what to say, just say this. And it seemed like he kind of was trying to do that, but it looked like he was lying. Yeah. I'll keep it real. Look like he was lying.
I mean, and listen, this is the thing is we don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Giants know, and listen, I like Xavier McKinney. I've been a huge fan of his since the day y'all drafted him. But he made a mistake. That's all there is to it. He made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? It sucks because he is such a pivotal part of that defense.
Oh man, and I saw some of the craziest stuff going around the internet. I saw one homie of mine actually too in Giants Twitter. He was like, I don't see the impact at all that Xavier McKinney has made on this defense this year. And I'm just like, did you not watch the Jaguars game? Did you not see the forced fumble? Did you not see the late sack on Lamar Jackson against the Ravens? The way that people try to dismiss things that they know they're wrong on is kind of hilarious to me. Let's just keep it real, okay? And I want to just go over a couple of facts. We got time today, without the Giants game and whatnot, that I talked about on Giant Overreaction on Monday. It's like, this dude is in Cabo on a four-wheeler, and you got fans across the Giants community saying, you could slip and fall in the shower. You have to wash your ass every day.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out here jumping on no ATV on a daily basis. Then I heard people saying he can do whatever he wants when he's on vacation. What vacation are y'all talking about? We're in the middle of the season. The New York Giants are sitting at 6-2 trying to make a playoff run, and it's not a broken hand. It came out today. Xavier McKinney said it in a press conference. He broke multiple fingers. Yeah. Dog, come on.
Freak accident is what they're saying.
Yeah, but they won't explain the story. Listen. Now, let me tell you, Beard, if I have a freak accident, okay, let's take it back to when we was children, right? We were skateboarding at Glen Haven, right? And we trying to pick up the plate, There was a street plate, probably weighed about a ton. It was 4 of us. We all probably weighed about a good 100 pounds soaking wet a piece, okay? And we tried to pick up this plate, okay? I was probably maybe about 14 years old. We picking up the plate, and the plate falls on my leg in between the curb. I'm talking about my leg was flush between a curb and a metal plate like this.
It was not metal. It was not metal. It was
steel.
15 tons of steel. It was
steel plate.
It was
When we come back and we tell your mom, because we know God rest her soul, we know good and goddamn well I was not going to tell my mom what really happened. But I was looking kind of like Xavier McKinney, like.
We had a game the next day.
I know. It was awful. It was awful. we was tripping.
We literally had a game the next day, Awthentik and I, and we was out skateboarding the night before a game, and we dropped a 2-ton steel plate on Awthentik's leg.
And the four of us didn't lift it back up, though. We did. I don't know where the adrenaline
was pure
came
adrenaline.
from.
Well, the adrenaline came from the fact that you had the Kurt Schilling bloody sock.
Oh,
and
it was
I still remember
the plate sliced through my pants so fast. Like, it cut the pants. My leg's bleeding out. As soon as I lifted the pants up, I see a golf ball size hole in my leg. I'm like, I'm all right, y'all. I'm all right, y'all. I'm like, I just can't look at it. They pushed me home on the skateboard.
Kelly, I need a Band-Aid.
Yeah, and then Chris goes there and says we need a Band-Aid. So I do understand what it's like to be young, make mistakes, try to lie your way up out of it and whatnot. And I'm not saying Xavier McKinney's coming up with a 14-year-old excuse, but he's coming up with a 23-year-old excuse, and he's not doing a good job of it. You know, he'll live and learn from this. He'll get better from this. But at the end of the day, I will say this about Xavier McKinney. When the injury first happens, he goes right to Twitter. He's the one who made the statement. I give him a little bit of props on that. But now just own it. Just own it. Hey, man, I messed up. Forget this whole sightseeing. Well, do you think that that's gonna make people feel better? Like you were at a Hollow Scream at what is it, Adventure World, and we're looking sightseeing, you got scared and fell off the bus. It's not like that, dog. You're on an ATV, bro. Y'all was proud of that Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say he probably didn't want to come off looking like he was in Rough Riders music video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He wanted to make it look more like he had the binoculars and he was looking at the rhinos or something. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they trying to make it seem like he was sightseeing. Let's just come on. And Giants fans, y'all copping trying to get this man a pass for that excuse. Come on, man. Y'all gotta grow up. Y'all might need some experiences like that where you got to put yourself on the line because y'all got to grow up, man. I saw way too much support for this boneheaded mistake that he made, and I'm not ragging on the guy. I'm just keeping it funky about him.
Yeah, and this is the thing, too, is that, like, I think this is where the disconnect is. You can sit here and say that he made a mistake, right, and not agree with what happened or what he was doing and be like, okay, you're still my guy. You know what I'm saying?
That's my guy. He's been an example since he's been with the New York Giants. This dude played pretty much a whole season, no injuries. I think it was like 1,200 snaps or something crazy. Patrick was telling me about it. He's done a great job. That's why he has that C on his chest. But you got to understand, what is the Peter Parker saying from Uncle Ben? With great power
comes great responsibility.
And you're going to learn that by making mistakes, man. Yep. Whoever fails the most is going to win. So if you can fail, get through this adversity, and maybe stop failing eventually down the line, you're going to be the person to win. So, but just like the excuses I saw today, it's just ridiculous. Like, are y'all not adults? Maybe not. I'm probably talking to 12-year-olds on Twitter. Let's keep it real.
He made a mistake. Now he's hurt. Next man up. He'll be back. That's it. There's nothing else. That's it.
Nothing else. Nothing else for it, man. I'm seeing people 3 days of excuses, man. I'm just like, what is going on with y'all? Like, y'all doubling down on these terrible excuses, like the shower, or, you could slip falling on your deck, or, dog, these are things that you got to do to get to where you got to go. We're not talking about jumping on an ATV with bandanas looking like the Rough Riders video, like you just said, dog. This ain't Swiss Beats and DMX, my G. You got to find a way to be more responsible. And this whole, they got to live their lives.
Yeah, that's what the offseason's for.
Exactly. That's what the offseason is exactly for. I'm not going to tell it. And I made a comparison on Monday about it. Like, if you're an actor and you're shooting for Iron Man, dog, if you get hurt not doing a stunt on the movie, you're going to look like a damn fool. And that's kind of what this is.
Yeah, it costs money, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, if something like this happens, this is the difference is, and I'll leave it at this, is that, like, when you are a golfer, and say you're a golfer and you go out and, in between tour events, you go out to Cabo and you go sightseeing and you have a accident on an ATV, right? Who's affected by that? You. Okay. But when you play on an NFL team and you go out and you do that and you get hurt, it's not just you that is affected. It's the rest of your team. Yep. And that's the thing. I think that's the big difference that I think people miss, is that, like, it's not just about Xavier McKinney. This is a full, group effort to win a Super Bowl. It takes every single person in that locker room. And when you have a guy like him that's as special and as talented and as important to the team as he is, not there for multiple weeks, it affects the team as a whole. So hopefully, like you said, he learns from this. I think he will. I like Xavier McKinney. I think we both do. He's a great player. He seems like a great person. Just made a mistake. Now he's caught up in it. Hopefully things will blow over. Giants are coming back against the Texans this week. We'll be live Thursday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time talking about that game. Shout out to Awthentik and The Beard. And if you guys didn't, like Awthentik said, if you missed Monday's Giant Overreaction, you can go right here to Awthentik and The Beard's page.
Easy watch, too. It's about a good hour. Pretty easy watch, man. And some great opinions from a lot of people in the chat, too, man. And I always tell y'all, man, like, I formulate my opinions by putting them out there and also, like, taking heed to what other people say and then formulating my own opinion from that. And, like, I was starting to feel like the way I was looking at Twitter, I'm like, am I tripping? Or, like, was Xavier McKinney tripping? And doing that Giant Overreaction on Monday, it really, like, settled me in. And I was like, it's good to know some people out here got some common sense, man, up there upstairs, man, because, wow, if you use Twitter as a gauge for common sense, my God, it's awful.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Big shout out to everybody who is watching us right now on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. We appreciate all the love and support. If you are here on YouTube, make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. Definitely helps us get this stream out to the YouTube universe. And let's say some quick shout outs to the people in the building. I mean, you know, first man in the building, Awthentik.
The GOAT.
That's what you gotta be, man. First person in, last person to leave, literally.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm the Black Daniel Jones. Let's get it.
Big shout out to, man. Look, you put this beat on because you know this show.
I already know this your vibe now.
I can drop 16 on this, like, immediately. One of these days, I'm just going to go and drop 16. Everybody's going to be like, what? Big shout out to Bluegrass Picker. Appreciate you. Everybody getting here early because they're trying to get here before J-Mo. Big shout out to Kevin the PRF. Says Jameson must be off-world like Nick Fury. Hey, there goes Coach Taylor. He said, yo, guys, I'm here. Big shout out, Coach Taylor.
Late.
We appreciate you. Roman is in the building. What's going on,
Shout out
Roman?
to Roman one time, man. What up,
Thank
fam?
you for stopping by. And my man, Yam from Japan.
Yes,
Can't
sir.
join
What up,
in
Yams?
today, but still wanted to drop in a line and remind people to hashtag fire Scott Turner and Taylor. Heinicke is mid.
Hey, I've smoked some mids in my life. It ain't that bad. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
All right.
It's not
Before
the
we continue, this is one thing that irks me about. I see these hipster millennials and hipster adults, and they say W and L and mid. I'm like, let me tell y'all, I come from a time where a nice bag of mid was a W.
Fire.
As
Hey,
y'all would
what was
say.
the Jamaican version of the mid?
The
Arizona Gold. You remember that? Yeah. They're post Bush era.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
They don't
know about the real brown Bush.
But it's funny to me. But I appreciate you stopping by. Yam from Japan, my man.
Shout out to Yams one time.
Big shout out, Waterfly. Yes, I am doing a late night card show tonight on Whatnot, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm on major grind mode this week.
Getting it.
Hey, Italy is in the building. Japan is in the building. Shout out to
Shout out to Trudeau, man.
Appreciate you stopping by. Simon is in the building. AATBLFGNYGRTDB. I love it.
Big hashtag vibes. Let's get it.
Home of the acronyms is Awthentik and The Beard. Big shout out to Kai 001. Wild week indeed. Shout out to Kai. A Dallas Cowboys fan chilling on the bye week. So big shout out to Kai.
Probably had the best bye week of them all.
Big shout out to Jeffrey and Tony's in the building. Mr. Mini Guy's in the building. Big shout out to Zach for the $1.99 super chat. Nothing good comes out of Cabo. Look, I ain't never been to Mexico. I ain't never been to Vegas, believe it or not. So I can only imagine. And of course, Mr. Tainer himself in the building.
Big salute to the homie Tanner, man. We was chopping it up on Twitter just a little while ago, man. You know, just talking about the state of the New York Giants one time, man. Shout out my guy.
And there's a whole bunch of other people in the building. Shout out Michael Knight, Bloom, Beige Boy. There it is. Marcus Hardison, Stan, Jersey Life. Man, we are in here right now. Shout out to everybody in the building. We appreciate you guys rocking and rolling with Awthentik and The Beard. Best television show not on television. Yeah,
damn
and
right.
I voted today.
You did vote today.
I did vote today. Went back to the old stomping ground, Sligo.
Oh, you said Sligo. That's what's up. Nice,
Nobody
nice.
was there.
Is that your normal voting location?
Yeah,
that's
my
what's
normal,
up. It
normal
was
spot.
highlight for me.
Big shout out to ENA. We got time for the $4.99 super chat. What's going on, fellas? Sorry I'm late, but which is more likely, Giants head coach for coach of the year or Saquon comeback player of the year?
Ooh, I'm gonna go coach. For Saquon, I think it would have been better if he did it last year.
Yeah,
he'd have a higher chance, but he had that buffer year pretty much trying to get back to full strength and whatnot. This is kind of like, second comeback.
We gotta wait and see because there's some other candidates now out there for coach of the year. I think Robert Saleh has to be one of them. Mike McDaniel has to be one of them.
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins were kind of set a little bit. The floor wasn't that low, but I do agree he is in the mix.
Yeah,
Nick Sirianni.
Listen, for comeback player of the year.
Oh, yeah, comeback player of the year might be Geno. Somebody asked this today, and I did answer it. They said, what's he coming back from, though?
The bench.
I said the bench. Yeah, he coming back to the starting lineup from the bench.
I think that excuse me, people have a different definition of what that award means. I think some people think you have to be coming back from an injury.
Yeah, maybe it's just coming back from mediocrity.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a real definition for that, because I would have to go back. Yeah.
They say most valuable player, right? But are they really taking the most valuable player for his team, or are they really just looking at the stats and being like, hey, this quarterback's the guy?
Yeah. Shout out James Funk on Facebook. Coming back from sucking for years.
He was on the bench, though, man. He really wasn't even playing like that, man. Geno Smith, I think it was like 7 years of just inactivity, 6 years or something like that. I kind of remembered it was 2013, 2014 with the Jets. Outside of that, he hasn't played since he did those 4 games with the Seattle Seahawks last year, and he had the one joint where he took over for Eli Manning. That's really about it.
Yeah. I remember.
Now the entertainer's in the house, entertainer will vouch for me. I was telling entertainer in the offseason, if Geno Smith could stay healthy, Geno Smith's going to be a guy. People kind of wrote him off, man. And what did he do?
He ain't write him back.
He ain't write him back, man. All right, man. Well, let's get off into this first game, man. Crazy the Giants on a bye, but I am excited to talk about these 2 games, man, especially this first one, man. Let's talk about this Eagles matchup where they went to Houston to take on the Texans. All right, man, the 8-0 Eagles now. Good God.
First time ever.
Crazy. First time ever in franchise history, man. They defeated the now 1-6-1 Texans. That record don't sit well with nobody. They beat them 29-17 on Thursday Night Football. Shout out to Amazon Prime. A lot of people been hating on that broadcast. I love that broadcast, bro. The post game, the way that they do the presser with the fans there, man, right in front of them, especially if it's a home game. This was not a home game for the Eagles, but they had fans in the building chanting heavy. Then they had the performance that was hosted by 2 Chainz, and then they had Meg Thee Stallion perform. Like, that's a great way to do post game. I'm definitely digging what Amazon Prime is putting down as far as Thursday Night Footballs. Like the Beard said, first 8-0 start in franchise history for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, man, he got his 11th straight regular season win. That's the most wins by any quarterback right now active. The Eagles are the 29th team in the Super Bowl era to start off 8-0. The other 28 teams made the playoffs. 15 of those teams went on to win their conference, and 8 won the Super Bowl. So the Philadelphia Eagles are pretty much looking at just under like a 33% chance to get or win that Super Bowl. I wanted to show y'all a clip with Jalen Hurts. This was him in his presser after the game. Check this out. I thought he said some great words that kind of show the leadership of a quarterback like Jalen Hurts.
Been 8-0 before and lost the national championship, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just take it day by day, you know what I'm saying? Take it day by day. We haven't accomplished anything yet.
Yeah, man, I love what he says there. He's talking about taking it day by day. They haven't really accomplished much yet. He's already been 8-0 before. These statistics, man, you're starting to see that Jalen Hurts, when they take away his legs from the read option, the RPO type of game. He's still managing to be able to throw this ball very effective, man. QBR of 75.8. He was sacked 4 times on the day. The Texans did put up a pretty decent fight in this game, too, man. Early on, they forced a fumble on Jalen Hurts with one of those sacks. They had the first opening touchdown of the year for the Texans. They haven't scored on an opening drive all year. That happened in this game. We talked about them having to rely on the running game, especially with Dameon Pierce coming off of one of his worst games of the season the week before. Dameon Pierce put up a career high in this game with 135 yards. The Eagles were tied at the half, which is very rare for them this season. We know they've been blowing teams out in the first half for the most part, coasting in the second half, and really, high-five vibes, costumes on the sidelines, a lot of partying, a lot of celebration. This one was 14-14 at the half, very rare for them. For me, the momentum shift was the C.J. Gardner-Johnson interception on Davis Mills in the third quarter, which set them up for a touchdown to A.J. Brown, 17-yard touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown's got 5 touchdowns in his last 3 games right now. He had 4 receptions in this game for 59 yards, 1 touchdown on 6 targets. I told y'all on the parlay, and I told y'all on the preview about Dallas Goedert. I told y'all he was going to get a touchdown. I believe it was he hadn't had a touchdown since week 1. Only had 1 touchdown entering this game. He had 8 receptions for a flat 100 yards. On the day, and the 1 touchdown on 9 targets. Consistency in that running game, and Miles Sanders is doing what he's got to do. 17 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown. Late in this game, the Texans tried to cut it to a 1-score game, but Davis Mills was picked off for a second time in this one by ex-New York Giant James Bradberry. And the Philadelphia Eagles, man, they're starting to look like they got one of the better secondary cores in the NFL. I mean, we talked about this last week too. Like, there really aren't many holes on this team. They really got everything pretty much solidified. I was watching Max Kellerman, Jason Williams, and Keyshawn Johnson this morning, and they were talking about, is this the best Eagles team that we've seen in the history of the Eagles? Even when you go back to comparing them to some of those teams with Donovan McNabb, where they won, I think it was 3 consecutive division championships as well. But this team is stacked with talent, man. When you're talking about a guy like Devonta Smith, who doesn't even have to have a real big game, he's kind of like the second option as far as the wide receiver, maybe the third option when you factor in Dallas Goedert. This Philadelphia Eagles team, man, I said this on Thursday, they're starting to scare me a little bit. I'm really looking forward to our matchup with them. The Washington Commanders get to play them on Monday night next week. That's going to be pretty interesting too, or interesting as well. But the Eagles, man, they're on fire right now. They're definitely flying high. I like what I'm seeing out of them, man. And an efficient game from Jalen Hurts, 21-27, man, 2 touchdowns. He's not turning the ball over. This dude's definitely putting up big numbers, man. What did you see in this game?
I mean, this is a thing. Obviously, it's so hard. It's so difficult to go undefeated in this league. And we know that because it's only happened 1 time ever in the history of the NFL. Mm-hmm. Okay? So there's going to come a time, where they lose a game, I would imagine. I mean, unless they go on to be, the best team ever and go undefeated and win a Super Bowl. Now, I think the Texans showed you how you can play the Eagles close and possibly beat the Eagles. Okay? There's
Definitely.
3 things. There's 3 things that just are, it's very plain and simple. The Eagles are so well-rounded, like we've talked about, that you kind of have to play a perfect game in order to beat them, okay? You have to be able to run the ball, and you have to be able to get pressure on Jalen Hurts. And when I say pressure on Jalen Hurts, I mean pressure where you're sacking him and not letting him beat you with his legs, not necessarily just running, but being able to throw after escaping pressure. And, they got to Jalen Hurts, what was it, 4 sacks, I believe you said it was, right? 4 sacks. And, they ran the ball effectively and efficiently. But the problem was, there we go. The problem
that mirror fire is crazy. My brain's like,
the problem was the Texans turned the ball over. That's the big difference in this game. And you said it, obviously the momentum changed, but you can't turn the ball over against this team. But if you can apply pressure and sack Jalen Hurts, and you can run the ball, and you can play a perfect game as far as not turning the ball over, controlling the clock, and in those situations, you can beat the Eagles team. It's just so difficult in this day and age to be able to do all those things, to be able to run the ball like how the Texans did, your defense gets sacks, and then not turn the ball over, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles team, because the Eagles team is so well-rounded. It's difficult not to turn the ball over. Now, the Eagles have been without Jordan Davis. Obviously, he's been great in the run block for the Eagles thus far this season. I think he's going to be out maybe 2 or 3 more weeks. So obviously, the window is going to be closing here on the Philadelphia Eagles and that run defense being a little bit suspect right now. But the other thing is too is with this Eagles team, and we talked about this before, is that there's so many weapons that if Devonta Smith only has 2 catches, right? A.J. Brown only has a touchdown and under 100 yards. Mm-hmm. Goddard steps up and has 8 for 100 and a touchdown. Yep. If Goddard doesn't have a touchdown and A.J. Brown is shut down, you see a game where Devonta Smith has 8 catches for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
We did see that.
If you lock down Devonta Smith and Goddard, A.J. Brown can go over, cut you off on the top with 3 touchdowns and 100-something yards. Mm-hmm. If the passing game isn't working, Jalen Hurts runs for 90 yards. Miles Sanders runs for 120 yards. Kenneth Gainwell runs for 40 yards. It's just they can beat you in so many different aspects of the game. I think that's what makes them the best team in the NFL. And then listen, I know there's the Kansas City Chiefs. I know there's the Buffalo Bills, but it's hard to say that the Eagles. Obviously, I know I've been slow to come around to this, but we have to take a look at the schedule. Okay. We do have to take a look at the schedule.
We do.
The toughest team that they played so far, I guess, is the Minnesota Vikings. But that's the Vikings' only loss. That's a
or
good
Dallas
win.
Cowboys. You could throw them in that.
Yeah, you could throw Dallas in there. Obviously
they
had to back up. So I think that Christmas Eve is Philly and Dallas. I think that's going to be a really interesting game between those two teams, obviously. But I don't think Philly really plays much as well as competition moving forward. But, you got to watch out for the trap games. Obviously Washington and New York Giants. If they play any other teams that are that low as Washington, it'd be some trap game atmosphere. So you just have to be careful of that. But, I
did see the schedule for them, and ESPN had them as a 75% chance of winning out.
That's pretty darn good. But, they play in the best of the division in football, so you never know what's going to happen as far as that goes. The Texans also really bad on third downs, 2 of 9 on third downs. That's going to be very, very difficult. The red zone, that's the other thing, too.
Struggle. Eagles, man, how many times have I called Jalen Hurts a red zone maniac, bro?
4 of 4, man.
Yeah, dog. And the 2-point conversion. Let's not forget the 2-point conversion that he got, too. He religiously gets those 2-point conversions almost all the time.
It's a dangerous team. It's a very dangerous team. I thought that the Texans played well, though. Minus those turnovers in the third downs, they did about as good as you can imagine a team that has 1 win to do against an undefeated team like the Philadelphia Eagles. Hopefully, you guys didn't listen to Frank the Tank and bet the farm on them.
I hope you didn't.
Money line,
you didn't.
But they did cover that 13 and a half point spread, which is why look, Tank told me, he said, man, you didn't even have the cojones to pick them live on the show. I said, man, I took them with the spread, you know what I'm saying? He was like, but man, the money line, bet the farm.
Nah, man, you gotta use that noggin. I told you,
it was a close game, though. It was a close game. It was a kind of
close game. It was a close game in the first half. And you're right. I do think the Texans pretty much did everything possible to stay within that game. But you could see, to me, the biggest lack of productivity was from the quarterback position and the wide receiver group for the Texans. 135 yards passing, there's no way you're going to win a game like that against a team like this. Now, we know the New York Giants, they had that game against the Chicago Bears, I believe it was, where Daniel Jones had 71 passing yards, and it looked great. I mean, he didn't even have to throw the ball. But you're not going to beat a team that's coming in 7-0, now 8-0, with that kind of a game plan. Your quarterback's going to have to go out there and make some plays. And Davis Mills in this one, man, he made some plays for the Philadelphia Eagles with those 2 interceptions that he threw to James Bradbury and Gardner Johnson.
I've already given my man some love.
Not today, man.
They're hurting.
You talked about the third down stuff. The third down, I mean, that's ridiculous. But I saw a lot of people talking about the New York Giants wide receiver core and whatnot on Twitter earlier today and whatnot. And the 2 teams that people were saying that, hey, these 2 teams might have a worse wide receiver core than y'all was the Texans and the Titans. The Texans right now with Brandon Cooks not in the lineup.
No Nico Collins.
Who's out there? They got no one out there. And the Titans is the same thing. You're relying on a guy like Robert Woods coming off an ACL injury. I think he's 30 years old right now. A rookie in Treylon Burks. And then ain't nobody else
Burks
really out there.
Burks not even playing. He's out.
Right.
So I mean,
And didn't have much productivity when he was in the lineup either. I mean, he looked okay for a rookie, but nothing crazy. I like him. I loved his tape when I was scouting wide receivers too, but the Titans definitely got to clean that up. But it's proof that if you don't got that superior unicorn at quarterback, then you need some wide receivers out there that are going to lend some help to be able to move the ball. Because could you imagine how the play action game would have been clicking for the Texans if they could have actually thrown the ball? I mean, Dameon Pierce was running the ball great, physical. They kept Jalen Hurts on the sidelines. I think they won a time of possession battle. Yeah, they won a time of possession by 3 minutes. So they did almost everything right. Their defense was playing great ball. They forced the turnover. The Texans offense didn't even get any points off the turnover that was forced. So that's just not the recipe to win. And the Eagles capitalize off that in the second half. I mean, you're looking at 14-14 at the half, and then the Eagles end up scoring 15 points in the second half, and the Texans end up scoring 3. That's just not it.
No, it's not. But I will tell you, Dameon Pierce. I mean, I've been talking about this guy for all season. He is a guy. Dameon Pierce is a guy. He's a very well-rounded running back.
I don't know if you saw that one tackle. I forget who it was. It was one of the players in their secondary for the Eagles tried to hit Dameon Pierce up top after he was spinning out of breaking a tackle. And I mean, he didn't wrap him up. He just literally just shouldered him out the way, dog. Like, I'm gonna keep it moving. Like, it was nothing. So I like those kind of running backs, man. He's a good blend of like agility, but also has the physical style of running to be able to make you pay if you don't try to go low and tackle him. So I think he's a piece they could keep moving forward. Definitely got some questions at the quarterback position. I think, it's hard to gauge this early. It does remind me a bit of Daniel Jones in the year 2 kind of vibe where it's like, yeah, you're still trying to put your finger on like, can Davis Mills be a guy? He has played some pretty good football. I went over his home statistics last show on Thursday, and his home stats were ridiculous. I mean, it was something like 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a bunch of yards, man. So I think he's capable, but you definitely got to put some pieces around him if you want to try to expect to get some victories. Right now, the Texans, man, 1 victory on the year, and that tie is just, that's not looking good either.
Yeah, to the Colts.
Yeah, to the Colts, man, the Colts are in hell right now. People justifying that on Twitter, too. We talked about that earlier as well. Like, why are you guys so mad at Jeff Saturday getting hired? Well, because there's a bunch of coaches out there that are qualified sitting at home. They even got coaches on that staff. Joy Taylor was talking about it. You got Reggie Wayne right there on the staff, and you go hire Jeff Saturday off the streets. I'm not trying to,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to rag on Jeff Saturday, but let's be real.
If you heard Jeff Saturday talk about it, he was like, man, it all just kind of happened. 12 hours. It was 12 hours. He just, he called me up and he was, we were talking, and then the next thing you know, I was the head coach. You know what happened was Irsay was sitting in it. It was.
Yeah, you told me I need to go check out that press conference with Irsay.
He called up and said, Jeff.
No, Jeff. He's like, hey, Pat, we're going to need you to come over here and be assistant coach to Jeff Saturday. All right, bring the gang. Like, nah, that's not the vibes, bro. It's not the vibes right now, man.
But what's funny is that how many times have I talked about, and we're gonna touch on this in a couple of minutes here when we talk about Washington, about how you can't fire Scott Turner because there's nobody to call the plays. Well, apparently you can because the Colts assistant quarterback coach is now
gonna be calling the plays now.
Is now calling the plays for the professional football team.
Crazy. So you can do whatever you want. That's what I heard people making up that excuse. Irsay's got the money to own a team. You can do whatever you want. No, you can't, man. Not without the consequences and repercussions, brother. It's the same exact thing with Xavier McKinney. You could go ride the ATV all you want. When you fall off and break some fingers and people come back and they start giving you, some criticism about it, you got to eat that, man. And that's what looks like the Colts are doing.
People just want to be defiant. That's all there is to it.
The Colts should have just kept your boy Carson Wentz over there, man. Tried to make another run at it. If it didn't work, just blow it up. Draft yourself a quarterback. Instead, they did all this, trying to put the pieces to the puzzle together. We'll go get Matt Ryan over here. He almost won a Super Bowl. I don't care if he's 48, whatever. We'll bring him in. He should be able to play well. Then you bench him, not even midway through the season to try to save some money. The Colts just, man, they went from being one of those teams where you were like, they should have been in the playoffs last year, to a team that's like, oh, I understand why they weren't in the playoffs last year.
I mean, dude, think about it. They benched their quarterback, fired their offensive coordinator, then fired their coach, and then hired a guy off the street to be their new coach. I don't think I've ever in my life seen a coach get come in the middle of the season off of the streets.
Yeah, it's so random.
Normally a coach gets fired and there's somebody who's already on the staff is the interim coach.
I would love to see that. Like, how many
that.
coaches have there been that even were hired mid-season that weren't a part of the franchise during the year, even if they were qualified? You don't see that. Like, you don't see, like, midway through the season, okay, the Miami Dolphins fire whoever, and then they just bring in some random coach, like, from another team. It just doesn't make no sense. And instead, you bring in a guy he was on ESPN commentating, like, ridiculous. I saw that clip going around with Peyton Manning where he was on the sidelines with Jeff Saturday, and he's like, we're trying to pass the ball. Snap the damn ball.
Yeah.
He's like kirking on him. And I thought, yo, you never see Peyton Manning get out of pocket like that in your entire life, yo. It's hilarious. And then the other lineman steps in there like, get out of here, Peyton. Get out of here. And Peyton just like, don't even know how to react. He's like, it's on him. It's on him. Pointing at Saturday. But, man, the Eagles, man, they definitely going to be a problem moving forward, man. You know, I'm going to be excited to see the Giants and the Cowboys get back on the field in Week 10 to kind of see, because I think that question we brought up a couple of weeks ago is still relevant. Like, are the Eagles just going to run away with the division? Now they're sitting at 2 games above the Dallas Cowboys and 2 games above the New York Giants. It's going to be interesting moving forward.
Who do the Eagles have next week? You have that
Y'all.
in front of you? Oh, I meant after this.
After that, let me see. Eagles schedule.
I guess I gave away my Thursday prediction just now.
Pretty much, yeah. They got y'all, and then what do you know? They but the Colts after that. The schedule gods. You keep wanting to say it. You keep wanting to say it. You got to play who you got to play.
But listen, before the season started, nobody knew that Jeff Saturday and Sam Ellinger were going to be leading the Colts after 8-9 weeks.
I know that's right. Yeah, man. But the Eagles, man, shout out to all them Eagles in Eagles Nation, man. Y'all are having a fantastic year. I would love to be 8-0, but I'm just as happy to be 6-2 with the New York Giants, man, coming off a terrible season last year, firing the head coach. We'll be okay. I don't know about y'all. We're going to get to that right now when we talk about this Vikings at Commanders game one time. It's going to be a good one. Oh, man. Vikings at the long-ass name Commanders. Shout out to the graphics department. One time. All right, man. The Vikings, who are now 7-1, man, they're definitely right there with the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to teams in the NFC. And the Commanders fall to 4-5. They lost to the Vikings 20-17 in a fourth quarter collapse, man. Washington led 17-7 at the start of the fourth quarter. Vikings scored 13 unanswered points. After taking a 17-7 lead with just over 14 minutes left in the game, Washington gained a total of 10 yards of offensive productivity on their last 3 possessions. Kirk Cousins, who is now 2-0 against his former team, there was some footage of this guy in the locker room. There was some footage of this guy on the plane with no shirt on, looking like Logan Paul, where they dripped him in all of their chains, and he was just... It kind of reminded me of you a little bit, The Beard. And also in the locker room when they got the victory, when he went to go break them out, they went, you like that on 3. 1, 2, 3. You like that? I thought that was a serious spit in the face to the Washington Commanders fans. Washington Commander fans definitely got to see the Heinicke roller coaster firsthand at home. The late interception, a throw into triple coverage that should have been another interception. If it wasn't for that referee getting in the way, that's definitely another interception. Heinicke threw for only 48 yards in the first half, and then he had that bomb on that play into triple coverage, which was a 49-yard throw. So on one throw, he got more yards than he had in the entire first half. The Washington Commanders had 263 total yards of offense. They came into this game ranked 22nd in the NFL in total yards of offense with 331 yards per game. It came down to a field goal late in this game with 1:52 left, but a bonehead penalty from John Ridgway by committing contact on the center. It was a personal foul. I got a little bit of beef with this, and I'm going to ask you how you feel about this. Ultimately, this became the demise of the Washington Commanders because it gave the Vikings an automatic first down. This was on a fourth and goal. This was on 4th and goal. They're kicking the field goal. Then you get the penalty. I understand it's supposed to be a 15-yard penalty, right? But I think they need to maybe remove the automatic first down out of this because it literally killed the game for y'all. The Vikings were allowed to just drain the clock. They pretty much kneeled it out. Kirk Cousins did a couple little dances here and there and then fell to the ground. And then they kicked the field goal to win the game with just like 10 seconds left in the game. What was your thoughts on that last play and also Taylor Heinicke's performance in this one?
Well, I mean, the last play, obviously, by definition of rule, that was the right call. It was a penalty. It was just.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not disputing the call. I mean, if it's
dumb,
in the rule book, it's in the rule book.
Yeah, dumb, and dumb. Obviously. Now, what it did, I agree with you. Yeah, the automatic first down stuff to me is a little weird. We've had this discussion over the years. I feel like myself and you over some of these penalties. Yes. Shout out over the years, but yes, it's. On a play like that, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, what's the outcome of the play wouldn't have given them a first down if the penalty wouldn't have happened. So therefore, it shouldn't be an automatic first down. That's kind of like where I stand with those sort of penalties. Like I understand that the pass interference ones, the holding ones, but on something like this, you know, and they've changed it too. Think about this with the roughing and running into the kicker.
Yeah.
They didn't used to be like that when we were growing up. You know, there was one penalty. You either ran into him, you roughed him, like it was just one. There was no separation between the two. And now one is an automatic first down, the other one isn't. So it's the personal foul, I think, by rule is an automatic first down no matter what the personal foul is. Which I think they really got
to revisit that. Like even a holding, when you get a holding on a defender in the secondary, right? You could be 3rd and 24. That holding penalty could happen at the 5-yard mark. And now we got an automatic first down. I just don't agree with the automatic first down vibes. I think it's just a little bit of a reach. And like you said, it doesn't change the outcome of the play. I mean, I know he hurdled over the center and whatnot, and he does make contact with him. I think you should do something where it's like half the distance to the goal. You get to re-kick it. And maybe I'm just saying that because I kind of was hoping that y'all could get the win for the benefit of you. But at the same time, when y'all lost, I was kind of like, yes.
Yeah. So, and what it really did is it really highlighted the piss poor time management and timeouts by the Washington Commanders is what it really did. I mean, what we're going to go through this game, it basically, you know, we are in purgatory. We are in football purgatory, quarterback purgatory. There's nothing you can do. Heinicke can do things that Carson Wentz can't.
Yep.
Carson Wentz can do things Taylor Heinicke can't. I need one that is 2.
With our powers combined.
Where is Captain Planet when
Carson
you need
Heinicke.
him? Because listen, and it just that's the real problem. The offensive line is the real problem. If we didn't have
problem,
that's just what it is. You know, because listen, I said this after the game on Twitter. I said, look, this is too easy for me to bash Taylor Heinicke right now. I don't want to do that. That's not fun for me. I don't want to be right about Taylor Heinicke. I want to be wrong about Taylor Heinicke.
Yeah, and to give you a little bit of pushback on that, I don't know if this was the game where you could be like, you know, it's easy to blame Taylor Heinicke in this one. This looked like
he was horrendous.
Yeah, it was kind of bad. It was kind of bad.
He was off. Listen, Taylor Heinicke, let's call a spade a spade. Taylor Heinicke is not starting quarterback caliber.
Oh, well, that's not the debate. That's not the debate here.
Well,
for me, it's more this. We could go back
debate.
to last year, right? What did I say about Taylor Heinicke when we were having all that? Is he a starting quarterback in this league when you were saying he's a second guy? My whole debate about that was Taylor Heinicke's like a lot of other starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Davis Mills, all these guys that need the running game to be able to excel in this league. Where was the running game in this game? You guys are still, I don't know, blindly still trying to make Brian Robinson the lead running back when we know it's Antonio Gibson.
Do you know how long it took before Antonio Gibson touched the ball for the first time?
I think the second quarter.
12 minutes and 38 seconds left in the second quarter was the first time Antonio Gibson touched the ball.
Right at the beginning of the second quarter.
And what did we do the first 3 possessions? Punt.
Yeah, nothing. And I mean, his yards per carry wasn't that high either in this game. I know that him and Brian Robinson were like a 0.1 differential between the both of them. One was like 3.3, 3.4. But at the end of the day, just use your eyes, right? And this is why I say, like, it's not so easy to blame Taylor Heinicke for this, because the offensive coordinator is not putting him in position to win the game. Even the game where he had the comeback drive, okay, or let me see, what was the comeback drive, the fourth quarter comeback drive y'all ended up winning? Was that the Bears game? No, it was the game after the Bears. Green Bay game, right? He's not being put in position to excel like how when we look at Daniel Jones in New York right now, it seems like every play they're trying to put him in the best position. Taylor Heinicke, they're like, hey, drop back pass. If you get sacked, bro, that's on you. We're relying on your talent in the pocket to be able to try to escape and try to make something happen. In this game, he was sacked, 4 times, I think, 5 times? You know, to me, it's like Taylor Heinicke, the expectation should also be pumped. It's just like when New York Giants fans, we talk about Darius Slayton, right? And people are like, oh, he had a drop here. You know, he's not showing up like a number one. Well, the dude was drafted in the 5th round of the draft. He's not supposed to show up like a number one. At the end of the day, Taylor Heinicke's a backup quarterback on the Washington football team. Why do we expect him to come in here and have heroics every game? I think they got to find a way to help him better. And not enough blame is going around right now on the offensive coordinator, Scott Turner, for having inconsistent game plans week to week to week. Some weeks you see it. You get to 30. I want to say last week they got 30 carries in that game combined in the rushing game. This game, what did you get in this game? You got like 12 and 13 from each one? And Curtis Samuel had like a carry or 2.
He had 1. And Amari Rodgers had 1 and Heinicke had 4. But, I mean, listen, we've been talking about this ever since that first game, that first drive, it was like, this Scott Turner, whoa, where did this come from? And ever since then, it's been non-existent. Scott Turner is
where's the boots? Where's the rollout passes?
Okay, so
we see it with guys like Justin Fields, right? He struggled for 5 weeks, and then the offensive coordinator said, "Okay, I got to get out my own way. Let's move the pocket a little bit for the kid, create him some space." Like Taylor Heinicke back there like this every play. Like, dog, it don't make no sense.
You know what's interesting is yes, I totally agree with that. In this game, it was a little interesting because obviously the strength of Minnesota's defensive front is on the edges, right?
Yep.
And the problem is with Taylor Heinicke is, okay, yeah, we can let's roll him out. Let's move him out of the pocket, right? Now you eliminate half of the field. He basically only has a quarter or a third of the field to work with.
Taylor Heinicke's not going to be in the middle of the pocket scanning the field like, he's not open.
He won't.
Oh, here we go. Like, that's not going to happen, right? So my thing is, and I love these concepts. Daniel Jones ate in Pat Shurmur's scheme like this, right? Teddy Bridgewater has made a living off of the flood scheme where they roll this guy out to the right. He looks like crap when he got in there for the Miami Dolphins. But for the most part, Teddy Bridgewater's been a guy where they simplify it. I've been talking about this with Jones all year. Fans are like, oh, he's reading the field better. I think Brian Dable's just making it easier. He's putting the reads on one side of the field. To scan a whole field, dog, this is not Madden. You know, like that view that we get of the game from up top where we're just like, he's open, throw it. Dog, they're not seeing it like that, dog. Like,
well, he's not seeing anything, though. Hey, listen, I'm not saying that I won't put the blame on Taylor Heinicke for losing this game. He's part of it, obviously, but there's plenty of blame to go around. I mean, it goes to Scott Turner, obviously, and I feel like this is a weekly thing we talk about week in and week out. Like I've been on Twitter with Wole for the last month and a half, firing up Fire Scott Turner hashtags every Sunday. I mean, okay, bro. First of all, the big shout out to Two Tone for the $4.99 super chat. Says massive salute to Awthentik and Beards, and for all Giants fans around the world, slap all stinky Boyd's losers out of front door hard and fast. That's a new addition. That's a new addition.
That is a new addition.
F all Texans losers. Salute Italy. Big shout out, Tudo. We appreciate you.
Big shout out to the homie Tudo one time, man.
But listen, the play calling is horrendous. It's not even just about putting Taylor Heinicke in the best position. It's just the common sense sort of stuff. Like, okay, so 4th and 1 play call. The one time you do boot him out, you boot him out on 4th and 1. Like,
yeah, come on,
that's
a high school play.
Run the damn ball. Like, it's 4th and 1. Like, all you gotta do is just run the ball. And then it's like when they do want to run the ball on those short yardages, they want to run it from the pistol. I'm just like, bro, what is going on? And then it's like those sort of play calls have led to the timeouts. So when we go right before that 4th and 1 play, you call a timeout. You waste a timeout.
Yeah. Before
4th and 1 to run a bootleg with one option for him to throw to.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's what you come up with? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's predictable. And they're not getting the ball to their playmakers. You know, let me ask you something, too, because a player that I felt was non-existent for, like, the last couple weeks here. What's going on with the
Logan
dude?
Thomas?
No, not Logan Thomas. Diami Brown. Is he hurt?
He was in the game after he had the big game. He was hurt, and he was out. Well, he wasn't out. He tried to play, and he only played like 2 snaps, and then he was out. But he was back for this game. But Taylor Heinicke can't get him the ball.
He was targeted.
He was targeted once, I believe.
But he has 0 catches since that big game.
Yeah, because Taylor Heinicke can't throw the ball to where Diami Brown is best used. That's just the fact what it is.
I saw Taylor Heinicke throw the ball 50 yards to win the game just last week, bro. To Terry McLaurin. That's 50 air yards, bro. Look at the throw. 50 air yards.
Okay.
Come on, dog. A fade route takes 3 seconds for you to get to the 20-yard marker and let it go.
Listen. I said this on Twitter, and you laughed at me. I don't know if you laughed at me, but you didn't necessarily agree with me when I just said that Taylor Heinicke is more lucky than he is good.
Oh, yeah. Nah, that's a reach, bro. That's a reach.
It's not a reach. It's not a reach.
The thing about Taylor Heinicke is he don't got the physical tools. That don't mean he can't play good football, though.
But, okay, I'm not saying he can't play good football. I'm just saying that his best plays are more luck than they are good plays.
I won't sit here on air and argue with you over it. I won't. But that's crazy to say that about an NFL player. I just think that's crazy.
Okay, well, was this the Curtis Samuel? I always do that. Curtis Samuel play? Was that good play or was that lucky?
That was luck. Yeah,
okay.
That was luck.
The Terry McLaurin?
I bet you I could name you more big plays that he's made that weren't luck. The Terry McLaurin throw that won the game, that's not luck. That's not luck at all.
That's Terry McLaurin. That's all Terry McLaurin.
But here's the thing is the throw doesn't even get there if you have Carson Wentz at quarterback. He'd have been sacked. Taylor Heinicke dodged the pressure, then made the throw. Let's not forget about the 4th down conversion on his own 10-yard line to even get to the position to be able to throw that. Was that luck too?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like, it's not all luck, but the ratio of luck. The ratio of luck to good.
I can't do that with professional sports. I just can't do that, bro.
I know, but listen.
Especially at the most difficult position that there is to play in the entire football league, we're going to say that a guy's getting by for 2-3 seasons right now on luck?
It's a little bit of...
You think he's getting lucky in the pocket? Like, I could go out there and get lucky in the pocket?
No. And that's why I started it off. That's why I started this whole thing off with... There are things that Taylor Heinicke, that's why we're in this position. This is this purgatory. Because what are we going to do? You can't put, I want to see Carson Wentz back in there when he's healthy, but what are we going to do if you
I
can't
think purgatory is more of a statement that a lot of people like to say with average quarterback play. I don't think that's the case with Washington. I think y'all are just a bad team right now. Y'all have 0 wins against any winning football teams right now.
But you can't, but listen.
I hope you heard that loud and clear.
Are the weapons not there? Like, are there not playmakers on that offense?
Is garbage. Do you remember?
Defense.
Do you remember the New York Giants when our wide receiver core looked all spazzy? They look great. Look at the wide receivers. Do you think that we were a quarterback away? Hell no.
That's the thing is that we're not a quarterback
away.
away.
Back there is an old man throwing to Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. We were terrible.
We need offensive line and we need a quarterback. Everything else, we're good. We're good to go.
Yeah. You know, with one year you present one thing. The thing that I think that Washington lacks is depth. Is another big thing that y'all 100%. Lack. Is depth. On the offensive line is where it starts for sure. But to me, a lot of complaints about offensive line, and I'm not sitting here saying like offensive line is irrelevant, but when you see people complaining about offensive line, it also got to do with the quarterback. They're an extension, right? They move as a unit together. Tom Brady is the most decisive quarterback in the NFL. That's why he's the least sacked quarterback throughout almost all of his career, because he's getting rid of the ball quick. Y'all offense does not present that. Taylor Heinicke, they're not giving him an easy Cooper Rush game plan where it's like, hut, 3 steps, bang. They're relying on him to make plays. Yeah. Which that's foolish in its own right there. Because if Taylor Heinicke does not win the Washington Commanders the football game, who's going to do it? You're not giving Gibson enough touches to be able to do it.
Nope.
So it's like, who's going to do it? Now you're putting the ball in his court and you're forcing him, his hand now, to say, go out there and make the plays to win us this game. When really what you should be doing is living and dying on that run. They should be dying on that run.
You preaching? So I've been asking them to run the ball 40 times a game.
And this weird thing with Brian Robinson, man, like he's a decent back, but just use your eyes, dog. Like I see him running, and I'm like, he don't even know how to brace for the contact sometimes.
No, he
like,
runs way too high.
Upright, like just getting smacked. And I'm like, dog, this ain't college football no more, bro. You cannot keep running like that. Gibson is a guy who's a proven running back. He's been doing it for years. This guy was 3rd in rushing last year. Now y'all have like pushed him back to being a bench player and a punt returner.
I wish he was a punt returner, but a kick returner.
And he had
one of the only times that put us in position to score was when Antonio Gibson took the kick back like 40
I
yards.
think it's time, man. I think it's time to move on, man. This whole Ron Rivera staff, I think it's time to move on. I said it weeks ago.
And I have been more supportive of Ron Rivera himself. You know, like I dogged Jack Del Rio, and I got to eat that crow because Jack Del Rio has done one hell of a job of turning things around after that miserable start to this season. That defense has been phenomenal. It's the only reason why we're not. It's only. I mean, the last 5-6 games.
Me and you we see the Bears game very different. Because to me, the Bears game, you allow a team to rush for 238 yards. You cannot walk away from that game saying my defense balled out. For me, I cannot walk away.
But how many points did they score though?
Yeah, they squandered 3 opportunities from the 3-yard line. It wasn't because of defensive plays, man. We went over this already. The overthrow from Justin Fields to the halfback in the flats, he's wide open 5 yards away from him. He just goes, poof. He throws it over his head. Like, come on, dog.
50-50.
The one on Darnell Mooney, your defender, he's trying to make a decent play. The one on Dante Pettis, bro. You remember how he dropped that pass?
Yeah, but they made plays, though, too.
They made some plays, but they allowed two. I'm just saying, for me, right? I'm not here to change your opinion on this one. For me, if the Titans rush for 238 yards against my New York Giants, I'm not coming out that joint saying, hey, my defense balled out. We've been balling for 4 games straight. I can't do that.
I'm not saying they're balled out, but they're playing really good football defensively.
No, I'm just going off what you just said. You said they've been balling for 5 games straight. That's what you just said.
Yes, I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to stand by it.
You go down that mountain. I feel you.
That's
what I might die rushing yards, Justin Fields carving y'all up, running all up and down the field, and you just happen to get lucky because his team cannot do anything around him. I can't look at that and go, hey, man, my defense balled out.
I thought we can't call professional football players lucky, though.
I literally posted the thing for you that said your team got lucky. Literally, you remember the question from that episode? Like, did the Washington Commanders get lucky? And you were like, I don't think they got lucky, but they kind of got lucky. And they, in the long run, you need a little bit of luck, but I don't think they got lucky. Like, come on, bro.
That was a classic.
I'm talking about a player excelling, one player in the league. We can't be like, yo, this dude. We can't be like Geno Smith getting lucky. We can't say that.
But Geno Smith is playing good football.
He's been bad his whole career.
But he's playing good football right now. Taylor Heinicke's not playing good football, right?
We can't say he's getting lucky.
Okay, can we ask you this?
Taylor Heinicke had 2. Yeah, I'll say good. I'll say he had 2 good games because good is average.
Taylor Heinicke is bottom 5 quarterbacks in National Football League. Yes or no?
He's only played in 3 games.
Okay. After the 3 games in this year, and combined with what you saw him do last year.
You know how they be like, you got to be eligible. You got to have like enough attempts. Taylor Heinicke's been throwing the ball for 3 weeks, man. I can't lump him in there with guys like Daniel Jones that've been out there for 8 weeks.
Okay, we can't win.
Here's the crazy part, though. He has 1 less touchdown than Daniel Jones does on the whole season in 3 games. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but I'm just saying, no, we can't be like, yo, Sam Ellinger's a bottom 5 quarterback, right? We can't do that, bro. Are we doing that?
Well, no, we're not.
We're gonna be like
doing that.
Teddy Bridgewater's a bottom 5 quarterback right now. Dude played like 2 snaps and got his head taken off.
But nobody in Miami is saying play Teddy Bridgewater. But I gotta sit here and listen.
2 is 6-0 right now when he's been out there.
I gotta sit here and listen to these jabronis in Washington telling me that Taylor Heinicke is a guy. I mean, listen.
You know, when you're losing, you really gotta stay off Twitter. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I mean,
when you win it, you got to stay off Twitter too. But I'm just addicted to it in this weird way.
My roadmap did not get followed at all. I mean, third downs.
Let's go over this roadmap.
Okay, we're going over the roadmap. Do you have the sound effects ready?
I got the sound effects queued and ready.
Okay. What I believe I said that we needed to win the time of possession by at least 5 minutes, right?
It was egregious. It was very.
Yeah.
You said 10 minutes. It was egregious.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. Okay. RTDB. I was going to say 35 to 40 carries.
Yeah. What'd y'all get? You said 30?
30, including Taylor Heinicke's scrambles.
I'll give you both.
Gibson, 15 to 20 touches. Not there. Jefferson, under 100 yards.
Oh, definitely not there.
Red zone defense. What did they hold him? 2 of 4 in the red zone?
Let's make sure before I get the line. They were, 2 of 4. 2 of 4 in the red zone. Yep.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I'll give you one of those for that.
Okay. Win the third downs.
Didn't do that.
Yeah. Win the turnover battle.
Didn't do that.
Not good. Big. You know what I need? I need to be lifted up by this.
You need some Tudo in your life.
Yeah. Big shout out to Tuto for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you guys for tuning in to the AATB International Rugby Sports Channel. Authentic. We're getting
Coming
ready
out on the
for
field, we've got Tuto Azuri with the $9.99 super chat.
Getting ready for our match against Australia, losers, on Saturday. Hope you've got Sports Sky Rugby Pass. One of these days,
I know about Sports Sky Rugby.
Authentic and I are going to do a play-by-play, Tudo, one of these days, okay? We need everyone's prayers for opposing teams' casualties and victims.
He didn't say prayers for their victory. He said for the casualties and the victims. Shout out my guy Tudo,
Salute Italy.
Let's
Shout
go.
out Tudo.
Tudo out here, dog.
Appreciate you.
With the Becky O'Shea vibes one time. Yo, my man Tudo is out for blood, yo.
I mean, listen, it's just there's so many things that are going on wrong. Between the play calling, offensive line, Taylor Heinicke averaging 4 yards a pass.
Yeah, that was bad.
4 punts and a field goal in the first half. We only had 2 drives the entire game that consisted of more than 10 plays.
That's not too crazy. 10-play drive, bro. You better be scoring some touchdowns.
Exactly.
You saw the Eagles just had a drive where they went 18 plays, 90 yards, bro. It was like unheard of. That's unheard of.
So maybe I should say this better then. We only had 2 drives of 10 plus plays, right? So that means we probably had 9 drives of like under 7 plays.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to see some statistics on that to see like what's the average of over 10 play drives per game for teams, because 10 plays, normally when you see 10 play, you see touchdown at the end of that normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I want to see touchdowns. How many touchdowns have we scored? And we've got to be one of the lowest scoring teams now. At least when Carson Wentz was playing, we were putting up points.
Kinda. That first week, I thought Carson Wentz was about to be a guy. Put up 3 touchdowns. I'm like, oh, y'all got the guy. All that stuff I was saying about Carson came back down to earth.
I was like, man, that ended real quick.
Yeah, it was Lions and Jaguars. Then you had 8 points against the Eagles, 10 points. Is this correct? Yeah, 8 points against the Eagles. I don't even remember y'all playing the Cowboys. I don't remember that. 25-10 loss. Y'all only had 10 points in that game. 17 points against the Titans. 12 points in a win against the Bears. And then 23 points. Taylor Heinicke's got, the last game of good points, 23 points against the Packers. And then you got the 17-16 victory against the Colts. and then 17 against the Vikings here. Yeah, so y'all definitely are not putting up points, man. You got to get back to running the ball, man. I just see a lack of creativity on y'all offense. It looks very old school. Looks very old school to me in these games.
There's no, you know it, man. It's like when it happens, we seem to win. Pre-snap motion, two running backs in the backfield, Curtis Samuel. You know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You said it best before we went on live. We're bipolar. It's got, you know, it's you just,
the play calling is definitely bipolar, man. And I'd like to see y'all spread it out a little bit more, right? Like, y'all don't utilize the short passing game as a rushing attack. You know, old school West Coast offense, right? That's one. And two, when you do that, when you spread them out, you can do things out of the shotgun with Taylor Heinicke where you just run draw plays and run stuff where, like, the matchups aren't causing as much congestion in the middle of the line, because Washington does not have the offensive line personnel or the tight ends to be able to just, like, bulk up, do double tight, and, hey, we're running the ball, here it comes. Y'all can't do that. So you got to get creative and run the ball. You know, with the way you're running it, you have to have creativity with it. And I just feel like Washington is lacking that. And when you have your defense, I mean, I know there was a lot of bad in this game, right? But I want to talk about some of the good from the defense, too, because Kirk Cousins started off this game 8 for 8, right? And it looked like, wow, first drive, you're looking at it like, man, Vikings are about to just slice Washington all day. After that 8 for 8, he was 43% for the rest of the game completion percentage. So the defense stepped up, balled out. You had Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. Both of them were pretty much all over the field the whole game. 6 quarterback hits and 6 tackles for loss. Then you also shut down Dalvin Cook. I know your roadmap didn't talk about this, about stopping the run. He averaged 2.8 yards per carry. He's averaging 5.1 on the year. Y'all stopped him to 2.8 in this game and 0 touchdowns on the ground. He did have the late, beautiful one-handed catch, though, man. That was a backbreaker for real. But Washington, y'all got to find a way that when the window is there for you to capitalize, go and capitalize. And to me, a lot of that comes on the coach. What Brian Dable looked like, Daniel Jones, okay? Do you remember the game where he had the bonehead interception early on in the game? It was like a route on the right side sideline, right? After that, Brian Dable's like, bro, we're not putting the ball in your hands to lose us this game. I'm going to game manage with you. We're going to use your legs, creativity on the ground with you to be able to get the points we need to win this game. Taylor Heinicke goes out here and throws the interception, and y'all just go willy-nilly throwing the ball. Y'all can't even get yards. 10 total yards after the interception. That's unacceptable. After having a lead 17-7, you only gain 10 yards. To me, that's not on the players. Yeah, the players got to go out there and execute, but you got to draw it up and scheme it up for them at the same time.
Yeah, I mean it's a combination, man. It's a bad combination. It's a losing combination, is what it is. You know, players aren't playing, you know, to their best in situations. The coaches aren't necessarily putting the players in the best situations with their play calling. Throw Montez Sweat in that mix too with Allen and Payne, and you got a total of 9 quarterback hits. Yep. You know, and Allen and Payne are playing all pro level right now, the two of them. There's no question about it.
This game, I will say, Kirk Cousins is very, like, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but he's super average. Mm-hmm. He's like, you see when a defense starts to give him troubles like y'all did, he kind of folds. I mean, this dude pretty much went 2.5 quarters with 0 output on offense. When you got these kind of weapons, and we cannot do this recap here without talking about how the Vikings acquired T.J. Hockenson. Yeah. He was all over the field. He was a madman in this game early and often.
All over the middle of the field, too.
Yeah.
Like, he was unstoppable in the middle of the field. I want to say I think he had 9 catches for like 80 yards or something like that.
9 for 70, yep. And Thielen had 3 for 67. So, I mean, you look at the weapons that Kirk it's probably the best set of weapons in the whole entire NFL with Justin Jefferson out there, man. Like, what other team has better weapons than that? Their second wide receiver is Adam Thielen, and he just can catch touchdowns. That's just what he does. Now you bring in T.J. Hockenson to replace Irv Smith. It's looking great already. T.J. Hockenson, what I like about him, too, is he's no slouch in the running game either. Like, when it comes time for him to block, he's a good blocker. I like that about him. And when he stretches the field as a tight end, he almost looks like a wide receiver, man. This dude got speed. He has great ball skills, great catch radius. I think it's one of the better pickups that happened before the trade deadline with T.J. Hockenson going to the Vikings.
Absolutely was. And you know, I do want to touch really briefly on how we'll end on how the game ended with the timeouts. Ron Rivera, listen.
Terrible.
It's just, first of all, you can't call a timeout a 3rd and 1 to run a horrible play on 4th and 1 and not even get the first down. That's a waste, okay? Then you challenge a play that's a 1 yard difference, and it's not like it was a 4th down and you challenged it.
You lose
It was
the timeout
second.
from it.
It was 2nd down, and you challenged it for 1 yard. And it's 3rd and 1. Run the damn ball, get the first down. You want to waste a challenge and then not even win it? It doesn't. Didn't make any sense.
For certain when you make that kind of a late in a game in a 4th quarter. You cannot do things like that. And Washington has had this issue with the timeouts for like it seems like 2 seasons
His
now.
entire tenure here.
Yeah.
And you know what that is too? Let's be perfectly honest. It's this damn new NFL and their damn analytics. Okay?
Possibly.
I don't like it.
I feel you. When you're on the losing end of it, I definitely feel you, right?
I don't know.
But
No.
You know what I thought about this game? When you saw the way the Vikings ran the clock out there at the end, you didn't used to see stuff like that back in the day.
Yeah, but that's not analytics, though. That's just, you saw it. Maybe not to that degree.
Let me give you another example of analytics. Saquon Barkley not scoring the touchdown. Nick Chubb scoring the touchdown. You would have never saw that in the 90s. Never.
No, you might not have, but that's not analytics, though. That's just,
you dig into the analytics that say that you have more of a possibility to lose the game if you score the touchdown. That's analytics, bro.
I suppose to a certain extent, but I'm talking about the timeout analytics, the 4th down analytics, the 2-point conversion analytics, like all of that stuff. To me, it's just
I don't know.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired.
I'm a little
I don't
50-50 on it because at times those are the right calls. You saw the Philadelphia Eagles go for a 2-point conversion. It was random as hell. Analytics told them to do that.
I know they got it, but what about
the
people that don't get
say
it?
To go for 2 late in the game when you're down by 2 scores. We've seen teams win games like that. Analytics is just analyzing the data, bro. You mad at the data?
But yes. When it comes to football, football is played in the trenches.
You sound like
not,
one of them old
not,
school New York Giants fans, bro. Run the
Football
ball,
is played in
pocket
the
pass.
trenches. It's not played on a TI-83, man. Okay?
Ooh, look, you see Stan, though? Look at Stan right here dropping that bar. Analytics is going for the win week 1. Yes, man. You know how, oh my God, back in the day, bro, in the 90s, they're kicking that. 10 times out of 10 times they're kicking that going to overtime. You know it, bro. When the analytics are in my favor, yeah. You remember Dave Chappelle when he was Rick James?
Big shout out to Sebastian for the $4.99 super chat. Says, was rooting for the Commanders. Y'all lost this game. Vikings didn't win it 100%. Agree with you there. The overturned pick 6, Heinicke pick, and that horrible penalty sealed it. Oh, man. It was like, I don't know if you go look at the ESPN, right, and you go to the Gamecast, right, they have the little graph where it's like, the percentage of the team winning, and it like shows you, and so like it's like Washington like all the way through, and then it just starts to spike into the purple.
Yeah.
I'm just like that's how my heart rate was for the end of that game. It's just.
This is a good point by Michael Knight, too. There definitely was not a 2-point conversion in the 90s. But you get my point, dog. It's the go for it, go hard mentality of like, yo, we might not get another opportunity here. Let's go for it. 4th and 1, a field goal will tie it and take you to overtime. Most teams going to take the kickback in the day. They're not going to go for it. But these new era teams, these San Francisco 49ers, who's the coach from Miami out? Mike McDaniels, this kind of guy, with the glasses and the analytics. How you think he got his job? You don't think he was looking at the analytics?
No, he's not an analytics guy.
Come on, bruh. Come on. That ain't an analytics guy.
You want to know what analytics
Everyone is an analytics guy. Did you hear Mike McCarthy last year talking about, the game is changing. I had to update the way I look at the analytics. And now look at him. He's not having these timeout blunders.
But somebody's blundering it. Maybe it's just because Washington's analytic guy sucks.
Hey, Stan broke it down perfectly. When it works, it's praised. When it don't, it's looked down upon. That's what it is. That's what it is, dog. Y'all went for it. Remember when y'all went for it against the Giants the year before? Ron Rivera, I want to say it was Ron Rivera's rookie season, 20. It was 2019.
We did that game live, and I lost I lost it.
I knew they was going to go for that. You got to have that sometimes, dog, and you got to be able to live with it and die with that. You got to be like, you know what? I'm trying this. We going for it. If it don't work, I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to take accountability. It is what it is.
I don't need you guys to back Awthentic's debate.
Tell him, Rozelle. Tell him. Tell him, Rozelle.
I
Tell
know
him.
Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels ain't. Just look at him. What you think he got his experience from playing football?
I know he's an analytic guy, man. I know.
That dude,
Listen.
dog. He looked like if there's anybody that you could stereotype and be like, that dude ain't no head coach. If I show 32 coaches to my girl right now, she's picking Mike McDaniels like he's not. That guy's not a head coach. No way. He's one of the better head coaches in the NFL right now.
He is. This was the toughest loss for me of the season so far.
You were saying that every week. I feel like y'all lose. Nah,
Last
that was
loss.
a tough one. I mean, you're up 17-7, fourth quarter. I saw you tweeting out, and I gave you a little bit of problems about this, dog. You got to pump them brakes, man. Them superstitions. I know you're a little stitious, but got to watch out what you say on Twitter, man, how you respond, and y'all was looking like y'all was taking a victory lap in the beginning of that fourth quarter.
All I said was the Vikings were frauds. That's all I said on
You said that in the middle of the fourth quarter, bro.
That was a stupid.
Very stupid, and it ain't all I said. And meanwhile, your fans are in the stadium going, you like that, and then 5 minutes later, Kirk Cousins is just driving down the field, just carving y'all up. Game over.
That might not have been our fans. That might have been all those Viking fans that were there.
Nah, down. You really think Vikings fans would be doing that down by 10 points?
I mean,
saying you liked what would they be referring to that you liked? The 7 points they put up in the first quarter? Come on, you reaching. You reach it, you know it. Tough loss, though, man. But listen, I think it's a loss that y'all really needed to have because, to me, starting to look at this team right now, especially with Heinicke at quarterback, man, y'all are average, man. It's average.
If that.
If that. Defense is good. Offense, man. You need Jahan Dotson to get back in that lineup doing some damage. Curtis Samuel, I like what he's doing, though. I will say that. Bounce back, comeback player of the year right now. That dude was doing some things. Might not be the guy to get the comeback player of the year, but for y'all team, he's came back and he's done some damage. I feel like he's done his part. Coaching-wise, got to get the ball to Antonio Gibson a little bit more, man. Make him the lead back. This whole Brian Robinson experiment is starting to really shoot y'all in the foot. And it's, get out your own way.
I've been saying that since preseason.
Yeah. I remember when you were first telling me about him, I was like, okay, y'all drafted this kid or whatever, but you're like, he's going to be named the starter. They're going to be moving Antonio Gibson to special teams. I'm like, why? We talked about how Washington has always been the team that always want to, remove what's working. Remember Adrian Peterson? And we talked about, what's the kid's name? Darius Geis. Man, that experiment went horrible.
Antonio Gibson's their best player offensively.
Debatable.
It is. I mean, you could say Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, because Terry, man, when you start getting Terry that ball and he start that dog start coming out, the X-ray starts showing. Yeah, he's a different player, man. He's a different player.
Well, I had high hopes for Terry McLaurin because I thought he was going to finally have a quarterback.
Yeah, I like Major Boy brought this up right here. That fumble in the preseason.
Yeah,
that was major for him.
That was it.
Because I feel like they wouldn't have been as easy
quick
to bench him, Yeah, it would have been a slow type of thing.
They were waiting for that excuse.
And then Robinson got shot. They was probably telling people stuff in the locker room. You got to stick by your story, Hey, we told Brian he's a starter. Just because he got shot don't mean he's lost his job. Comes back, they trying to force him in the lineup. It's not working. They're trying to keep forcing him in the lineup. To me, you got to go back to Antonio Gibson. And I like what he brings to the passing attack, man.
Yeah, it sounds so simple when we sit here on Awthentic and The Beard and we talk about it, but yet it's so difficult.
I can't wait. Powers, man. Y'all, we'll give y'all some draft picks. Y'all give us Terry McLaurin, give us Jahan Dotson, any other little good pieces. We could take Antonio Gibson for third downs and stuff. Give Saquon a little break. That front four. Some secondary pieces.
Are we going to be the New York Commanders or the Washington Giants?
We already got you this close, bro. You almost a Giants fan.
Listen, that Arnold Schwarzenegger one was a perfect one for that response.
That was good. That was good. I mean, shout out to Chris Peace and all them too.
These are one of them that
crazy. That was crazy.
That's him. That's him working the playbook right there. No thanks. Shout out to Chris Peace. Speaking of devil, for the $1.99 super chat, says I'll trade Galladay for McLaurin.
Mage Boy said no.
No, we're good. We're good. Listen, that one made me sick. I was sick after that game. I was literally sick to my stomach.
Yeah, that's a tough loss to have, man.
It is because we should have won. We definitely should have won. And 5-4. We're still in the mix, though, man. We're still in the mix at 4-5. And you know what's good? We play Atlanta and San Francisco, both teams who are probably going to be right in our mixture.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, why is that good? They're pretty good teams, but you're right. You can kind of knock them off a little bit if you can get some W's and try to push for that one of those wild card spots for sure.
Oh, we're going to be there for both of those. I hope, right?
Which one is November? What is this one? Shout out to Paulie first off, but what is he saying here? November
4th and 18th.
Oh, is that our games?
Yeah.
I thought we had games in December. I'm tripping. November 4th.
Oh,
and
no,
18th.
you're right. You're right. It is this. Is it? No, it is December. He means to put December 4th and 18th.
December 4th and 18th. Okay, I got you. Yeah, we definitely going to be up at both of those games for sure, man. Definitely can't wait to see that. And I hope there's something on the line for that one, man. Y'all got to win some games here and stay in the mix, man. Giants got a little bit of a little head start here coming out to bye one time.
Yeah,
but that
you guys
McKinney
get the Texans, and we're going to play Philadelphia.
On Monday night. Good luck.
God help us.
Second time playing them too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the schedule gods did us this year. I mean, it's in one way I like it because the schedule's easy, but I don't like the divisional games late like this for the New York Giants, man.
I just hope Jalen Hurts doesn't Mike Vick us on Monday night.
He might just Jalen Hurts y'all because that boy playing some football. I feel like if he wasn't Jalen Hurts, he'd be a clear-cut MVP front runner right now. But because, not a lot of proof in the pudding yet with Jalen Hurts and whatnot, But I was looking at some of his stats, man, dude, and I know this is the Washington segment, but I kind of got to bring this up. The maturation of Jalen Hurts is very Josh Allen-like, bro.
100%.
Yeah, when you look at the stats, man, they're very similar. So he coming into the league in 2020, he played in 4 games. He had a 1-3 record. His completion percentage was 52. And if you remember, Josh Allen came in the league with the exact same thing. He was at 52 completion percentage his rookie year. Passing yards per game for Jalen Hurts in the first year was 70, right? 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 2021, he improved his record in 15 games to 8-7. His completion percentage jumped up 9 spots. He went from 52 to 61. His passing yards jumped up 130 yards, so 209 passing yards per game, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. You can't forget the 10 rushing touchdowns that he had. He had 26 total that year. And now in 2022, he's 8-0. Completion percentage has jumped up again 7%. He's at 68.2%, 255 yards per game in comparison to the 209 from 2021. 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions right now, and he's got 6 rushing touchdowns to go with that, man. That dude is playing lights out football right now.
And you know what it also reminds me of too is Tua.
Yeah.
I mean, they were saying these things about Tua also. You know, they were saying Tua can't throw the ball, and why did they waste all this picks on Tyreek Hill? Because Tua can't get him the ball like Mahomes did, and Tua's inaccurate. Tua's too short, and this and that. I said the same thing about Tua and Jalen Hurts. I said, listen, they just needed a little bit of extra time before you guys writing these guys off. Like this microwave society. I mean, Jalen Hurts and Tua and Herbert and Burrow, that class is insane.
Yeah, I'm still not like all the way sold on Tua yet because
understandably so.
McDaniels
Small sample
is scheming that thing up. Like I saw another thinking football on the Dolphins, bro, and the way he's scheming these plays up is ridiculous. But I'm not taking anything away from Tua. You do see some of those throws that are like how you saying about Taylor Heinicke, where like he goes to throw it down the field, and you're like, damn, dog, you just underthrew that like by 5-6 yards. So arm strength is a thing, and I think as he gets a little bit more experience, you're going to see better anticipation from him. But he's carving them up with that offense. That offense, man, they got all the weapons you could possibly need on offense with the Miami Dolphins. I think with Jalen Hurts, is more easy to see it with your eyes that he's a really good quarterback, man. The way that he can run the rock and add that dimension is totally different than any other quarterback. And I'll go back to what we were saying a couple weeks back, man. Like, it don't matter what it looked like. What is the productivity from it? It does not matter what it looks like. Jalen Hurts right now, man, he's showing you that when he don't got to run the ball, he can throw the rock. Like, they got options over there. They definitely got options over there.
A.J. Brown, I think, probably the best move.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a fantastic move. And you can tell that he likes playing over there. Like, he really enjoys being a Philadelphia Eagle.
I think they were good friends.
A.J.
Brown and Jalen Hurts.
Before he made a move over there. That's what's up.
I believe so.
I like A.J. Brown, man. People were sleeping on him, too. I think A.J. Brown's definitely a guy, and he makes Jalen Hurts that much better. Like, Jalen Hurts would not be in the MVP conversation without a guy like A.J. Brown, but I do think that Jalen Hurts is like a top 10 type of quarterback even without A.J. Brown.
100%. And you want to know what it is for me, and I'll leave it at this. It's just when I hear Jalen Hurts talk,
love it.
That for me is the difference right there. I mean, it might be cliche, it might sound funny, but to me, like, he says all the right things, and he doesn't say all the right things like recorded.
Yeah,
like you could tell. Like I remember watching the Kelsey and Hurts interview after that game to double back on the coverage that Prime does. I think they do fantastic job. You and I talked
that was
about
amazing.
that after the couple weeks. But that Kelsey and Hurts interview, I mean, it's just certain things that some people who either didn't play football or have just don't really watch it. They just kind of sit on the couch and watch it. That don't understand those sort of smaller details that go into becoming a great football player and winning football games at a rate in which players like Jalen Hurts are doing right now.
Yeah, you could see that he was like all about business on that podium when he was talking with them on that show. Like, he almost didn't want to smile, but the moment, you're sitting at 8-0, man, all the fans are over there chanting MVP, like it's a moment where like you kind of got to remove yourself for a second and just take in that life experience of like, wow, this is me. I'm doing this. And he had one of those moments you could see him smiling. But what I like about him is the all about the business, man. Like, tone is so important.
More to do.
When you see a guy speak after a game and he's like it's like Xavier McKinney today, right? Xavier McKinney, they start pressing him out. He starts falling for the bait. Like, oh, well, I said this. He starts getting flustered. He starts getting frustrated. You could look back at Jalen Hurts just 2 weeks ago when the media was trying to come at him for some question or something. He was just like, we're not going there, dog. That's it. That simple. The tone, the whole professionalism that he has, that dude is a leader. And I don't even get to see a lot from him. All I get to see is the post-game conference, and that's it. You can just see it, though. That dude is a different kind of a leader. If I was a player in the NFL, that's the kind of quarterback I want to play for.
I totally agree with you. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, man, that guy. I'm looking forward to seeing it, man. Like, I really want the Giants. Like, I just cannot wait for this game against the Eagles because it's going to be such a good test for us. Like, I forget what y'all performance was like that first time, but it seemed like the Eagles kind of took off on y'all. It's going to be a good vibe to get to see y'all on Monday night.
The second quarter, but they didn't score any points in the second half, the Eagles.
Yeah, and that don't mean too much with the Eagles. You know how they do, bro. They just run it up on you. They run it up, smoke the pack, put it in the ashtray, and then chill. And then they partying after that.
Costumes.
Yeah, that's how it is, man. But we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely looking forward to y'all game on Monday, man. Make sure y'all pull up on us on Thursday, man. We're going to be doing our preview show for Week 10, man. We already at Week 10 in the NFL. Season is flying by, man. And Giants are going to be taking on the Houston Texans. That's not going to be an easy game, man. I know they're sitting on one win here, one tie. They're sitting at 1-6-1. But they're a tough team. And, the Beard has been high on the Texans all year, hoping that they could get over that 4-win mark that Vegas had them at. The Giants are going to be playing for their 7th win, which would put us over the mark that Vegas had us at, man. It was 7 wins at the beginning of the season. So if you bet for the Giants to have more than 7 wins at the beginning of the year, you're going to be sitting on a lot of cash here come the middle of the season here, man. But Week 10, it's wild. Week 10, definitely already here, man. But any more thoughts on that Washington game at all, man, or anything for this NFC East Week 9 edition? I don't ever remember us having 2 games ever on any show. I don't think that's ever happened. This was very slight.
Playoffs, that's about it. So.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just.
You got that one. You got that one.
we gotta bounce back. Washington does. I think the Giants and Cowboys. Bye week. It's interesting to see how these bye weeks are going to affect these teams differently. I think it was probably a good time for Giants bye week and Cowboys. It's, coming out of the bye week to get the Texans is good for you guys. And we're going to have Philadelphia on Monday night. That's going to be, you could make a statement. You know what this could be? This could be Washington versus Pittsburgh Monday night all over again. Remember
Washington versus Pittsburgh.
that? Yeah, Pittsburgh was the last undefeated team.
Man, that they were 10-0. That 10. What was I saying the whole season? People wouldn't believe me. I said, "Yo, this Steelers team is so overhyped, man. Right now, they are not a good team. I'm telling y'all, they're not a good team." And I think that's the year that Baker beat them in the playoffs.
I think so, yeah.
We shall see, man. You guys
Thursday
definitely got
night.
the last playoff nod. The Giants have not been in the playoffs since we've been on YouTube. At least you got that.
That's about all I got.
Yeah, that is about all you got. Y'all need line, quarterback. Y'all need help. Y'all need to
Offensive
get
coordinator.
healthy. Coordinator, coach,
Oh, but
owner,
listen,
Don't forget
I
about
do got that though.
the
The beige
guaranteed
boy.
now?
Oh yeah, it's a done deal.
They already made the deal.
No. I mean,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
done
That's
deal.
what
He's
I'm.
selling.
The
He's
way he had them
100%.
exclamation marks, I'm thinking,
No,
is there some breaking news we need to break?
100% selling the team. Yes, that's
Yeah.
that's official. It's just a matter of who's gonna buy it. But yeah, Bezos and Jay-Z met last night for 2 hours over dinner.
I did see that. They probably just hit a J and wasn't even talking about the Commanders.
I'll tell you, there's some people out there that are really funny and really dumb. They're like, well, what if they sell the team and then they move the Commanders to like London or San Antonio or
Watch what you clowning. 4
Nobody's-
years from now, we look back at this clip. You always see, you know when you're dealing with me, you always got to leave that 1%, yeah. That 1% for that just in case, yeah.
That's
Just
my
in
life.
case they do trade this guy. Nah, but we definitely appreciate all y'all pulling up, man, on this Tuesday, man. It was definitely a vibe, these 2 games, man. We'll see if the Commanders can bounce back next week, Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, which means we're going to have a little bit less work on Thursday. It'll probably be about 4 games, I believe. I don't know who the Thursday night game is, but we're going to get to that. I don't know who the Cowboys are playing either, but make sure y'all pull up
Packers.
on Thursday night. They're playing the Packers, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same place, same time, different day. Y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik and The Beard, left side.
strong side.
Let's see them biceps on the way out, man. Again, we definitely appreciate y'all, man. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Rest in peace to the podcast GOAT, Combat Jack. That's another episode of Awthentik and The Beard. No Zach Attack Back Jack, no Minneapolis Raps. Y'all know what it is, man. We're going to see y'all on Thursday. Y'all be good. Enjoy the rest of y'all week until we catch y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Spike don't care.
Baby,